Okay, this is another method we could suggest that staff members use to deal with their grades. It's not a one grade fits all kind of thing. It kind of goes with the idea that Brett and I believe the superintendent were talking about how you could put grades in when they did stuff as long as it helped them. I will tell you that knowing something about well how weighted averages work and about how difficult it's going to be for non-math people to understand that. Um, we just might want to be cautious about that. All right, so I tried to keep this video so you can't see anybody's name, so nobody can give me any grief about broadcasting kids' names in a video. Okay. All right. Now, what I did is I thought about how I could minimize the number of grades I entered, but still get some things accomplished. Um, this is if you wanted to actually like look at a little bit of data. I know that we're not being held accountable for data in general because of this weird scenario, but it might be a good idea that you tap a couple people just to see where the numbers are really at, to see what has happened. Okay. I don't care personally about grades. I mean, I care what they know, but I do think that some people out there do are really obsessed about a percent grade versus what kids know. If it was up to me, it'd be a check mark, a smiley face, a frowny face, and that'd be it. We'd be done. They could do it. They can't do it. Whatnot. But it saved me a lot of hassle writing stuff down. But for the sake of argument, I've looked at a couple of different kids and I've looked at a couple of different scenarios. So if we look at this list of kids, I see the 78.76 kid might want to have like some help to get their grade to be the next highest grade. I don't think this class has a ton of really close kids grade wise. And how about this 67.6 kid? Um, I've already made a couple different contacts with home. I've had Beth call. I've had I've had other people try to work with this kid. He won't do it. But he's one of those kids on my list, starting from the bottom, working my way up. Thankfully, I teach upper level classes, so I don't have as many kids to deal with in that regard. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and do like a quick score. Oh, before I go too far, what's each one of these things do? Okay, this week one component grade would be like, okay, if I look at these four different components, did they accomplish these four components that I'm looking for completely? Then I could put like 100% in my grade book to show what's going on. Now, before I go too far, the grades I gave in my grade book before had heavy weight to them: 500, 200, 1500. The part of the screen you can't see because I didn't make the window big enough, some more 200, 500, 200 grades. So the grades that are impacting their particular grade are their midterm grade and this test grade. Everything else is either it's probably 200 or 100 or bigger. Okay, so me putting this 100-point test grade in is really like a low value point total, but we'll just see how it impacts their grades. Okay, now on the other video I did, we looked very quickly at what would happen if you just put one grade in into that grade there, and then you could play games with like the weight. You could play games with what happens if I give a 105 to help the kids that are on the border be able to get their grade. But say you're one of those people that just has to enter a bunch of grades to feel good about themselves, or has a bunch of parents that are like on you if they don't have stuff to look at. Okay, so I'm going to do quick scoring real quick, and then I'm going to look at just a couple of those little scenarios. I would definitely say we do not want to put any grades in for kids that aren't attending. Um, that would be a good way that we could see, like, okay, did the kids that did attend, did their grade go up at all? So this girl right here would certainly love to have an A. So I'm going to put an A in. I'm going to put a 100 in all those other categories that deal with just doing what you're supposed to do. Okay. Now since this is in the formative category, and this girl's pretty good about doing her homework, then when I did my attendance, did they attend? Did they do things I wanted them to do? Grade. When I did my technology grade, when I did my shared leadership grade, did they help me out in making the class better? Did they help me out and give me feedback about how we could run class better? Did they help me out and give me feedback about did they, how could I make my web page and maybe my YouTube channels work better for them. I have one component that deals with my content area, that's math. That's kind of where my thought process was at with like what we need to like focus on. 25% of it is probably content. 25% is probably, technology. The other 50% is really up to how you want to look at it. Did they show up? And then what did they do when they showed up to make the experience in class better? And give us some feedback so we can use this to learn from as a staff to get to that level that we need to be if we're going to roll out more technology next semester, which I suspect this little experiment here will either damn it to never happen or ensure that it does happen. All right, say that she did all those things and I could put a 100 in there, and then she's pretty darn close to having her A already. Okay, now I'm going to go down to here to this other cat. The two other cats in my class that just don't do any homework, don't do anything at all, and they just hope that their grade is where it needs to be. So one of these is a kid that's right next to this girl, and I'm just going to put some homework in. Now, realize this kid does no homework. He does no homework. He will not do an assignment with a gun put to his head. So if he just would have worked one week, his grade would have went up to an 80%. Now, the problem with that kid is like he's gonna have a hard time just doing it. Like if he doesn't do it, he won't get there. Okay, I'm not worried about it, but the kid is really a smart kid, and I'm gonna try to personally reach out to him to make sure that he takes care of his business grade wise. Okay, one more scenario for a kid that's more towards the bottom, super underachieving, is this kid right here. I've already made phone contact with this kid's parent a couple different times. I explained to him, her and the counselors, he just won't do anything, and he's willful about it, and it irritates me. He just kind of giggles at me when I give him grief about it. So I went the route of like, I'm going to talk to your parent. I'm going to at least send your parent an email and talk to your counselor, and I know that the counselor reached out directly. Okay, so say that kid got his stuff together in a week, and 1 week wouldn't do it for that one. That is one way that we can take a look at, how we can look at entering grades so they would help and not hurt a kid. I really rankle at the idea when people start talking about, you know, they understand how weighted grades work. I would really say the percentage of people in our building that truly do understand what weighted grades are about, have any idea what's going down, like when you enter stuff in a grade book, is probably a lot lower than I would be proud to admit it as an adult. Okay, now it's not showing me that final exam that I had entered in there because I think I put it on the 22nd of May. I don't even know what our last day classes are. So if we really had to, we could put it in there. But for the most part, what I was trying to show you is like that is what I think that you were trying to say about two different ways to put your grades in. All right, this is already longer than I really intended to be a video wise, so I'm gonna stop piping up now, and I'm just gonna save it and attach it to this form I'm gonna send to the people on this email list. All right, thank you very much.